These are wrong address mix-ups. Louis Angelino runs a cleaning service called The Cleaning Fairy. He dusts, cleans, and even does the dishes. In 2021, he was hired to clean a friend's apartment in New Jersey. He was told he'd find the key under the mat.
2.5 hours later, place is spotless.
Then the friend reached out to Louis with the perplexing question.
Are you here? Did you come clean today? And I was like, yeah, I came and cleaned. Like, I'm sitting in your living room right now. Your cat's on my lap. I'm playing with your cat. Louis? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I don't have a cat.
Yep, Louis told Inside Edition's Les Trent that he cleaned the wrong apartment.
His apartment's 277. You were in 227.
Yes.
And you had already finished cleaning the entire place.
Exactly.
It just so happens that both places had keys under the mat. This is the apartment Louis mistakenly cleaned. The homeowner was so shocked, he took this video when he came home and saw the place in pristine condition.
The couch is all put together. Everything's shining, and there's nothing in the sink.
Beth Matzo's husband shot the video.
So he said, "You're not gonna believe this." I said, "What?" He said, "Somebody broke in and cleaned our apartment."
The cleaning fairy had his work cut out for him at Beth's place.
It was filthy. The dust from renovating.
You really can't make this stuff up, but here we are.
In 2013, stranger after stranger showed up at this house. What do they want?
It is saying that this phone is at your house.
I lost my cell phone and I clicked find my phone and it said it was at this address.
My brother's phone was lost and the last ping location was right here.
They all lost their iPhones.
Hi.
Hey, maybe you found a phone?
And the Find My app informed them that their device was at this Houston, Texas house.
It's pulling up this address.
One big problem. The phones were not in Scott Schuster's house.
And yet, it still showed my address. So it's just really bizarre.
The cops are on their way over here, so you may want to come talk to me before they come here.
I have never been threatened yet. Yet's the part that scares me.
Scott had a theory about why this was happening.
My home used to be a model home for this neighborhood. So somewhere in some database, that address lives for this neighborhood. And I feel like if it pings in my neighborhood and they can't tie it to a specific address, it falls back to my address.
This phone is at your house.
In 2018, a woman was doing this boy's mother a favor by dropping the child off at his father's house. Unfortunately, she says she was given the wrong address.
Yes, and it wasn't like that.
She says before she ran off, she saw a woman coming to the door. A woman she assumed was the little boy's stepmom.
I could see her through the glass window. And I'm pretty sure she could see me standing there too.
She says the boy's mom had a strained relationship with the stepmom, and she was told not to engage in any conversation.
She said, leave him on the porch. I said, you sure you want me to leave your child on the porch? She said yes. I didn't stay at the door because I seen her coming halfway to the door.
The child was placed temporarily with Child Protective Services. He later went back home with his mom.
Everybody looking at me like the bad person. I was only helping my friend out by doing her a favor.
Dramatic video from 2023 showed a SWAT team raid. Cops in gas masks searched a home from top to bottom. With guns drawn, they searched every room looking for a murder suspect. But there was a major problem. The cops got the wrong house. Amy Hadley told Les Trent they completely ransacked her house.
They destroyed the whole house.
Cops were tracking the suspect by his Facebook account and were told by an internet provider that he was using a device inside the house. So they surrounded the property. Using a bullhorn, they ordered everyone outside.
Somebody's walking out.
Amy's 15-year-old son came out with his hands up.
Hands up!
Listen to what one cop said.
That's not him.
His mom came home to find the property taped off. She and her daughter tried their best to tell cops they made a mistake.
That's not the right house!
She says the cops launched dozens of tear gas grenades in the house. She also said they shattered windows, punched holes in the walls, ransacked furniture and closets, and left the home a mess.
There was glass in the beds. We couldn't even sleep in our house. My son and I had to sleep outside. The tear gas was that bad.
It was a nightmare for this family in 2020 when cops burst into their home, which turned out to be the wrong address. And the homeowner was a retired police officer.
To me, it was terrifying.
Luis Rodriguez, his wife, and 2 kids were home in Houston. He heard deputies bang on the door and yell out that they were looking for somebody named Curtis.
And there's no Curtis Rogers that lives in this house. Sir, you have the wrong house. Open the door, it's gonna get open for you.
Up to the time when they were coming through the door, I still wasn't sure that these guys were police officers.
I don't think you should open it. There they are, they're busting our... You got the wrong house.
Rodriguez and his son were ordered outside. Rodriguez says he was left with a bruise on his arm.
I was afraid that they might discharge a firearm inside of my house and possibly, injure or kill someone.
I thought somebody was trying to break into our house.
I told you at the door there was no such person here.
It doesn't work like that. Everybody, everywhere we go says he ain't here.
In a statement, the sheriff's office said, deputies realized they made a mistake and the sheriff's office arranged to have the door replaced. The sheriff's office regrets the mistake and the incident is under review.
We hadn't done anything wrong. This was the last thing a family expects to happen to them in their own home.
You got the wrong house.
In 2020, after this child got lost, he approached this home desperate for somebody to help him.
My boyfriend just let me walk home. What happened?
The 7-year-old was dropped off at the wrong bus stop in Omaha, Nebraska, and didn't know his way home.
But I don't want my mom to worry about me.
Quincy had no idea how to find his home, but the smart little boy did recognize the home of his friend Max, so he rang the doorbell.
That's his mom. My boyfriend just left me out here.
Incredibly, Max's mom had just returned home 2 minutes earlier.
Yeah. He thought he was going to be lost forever, is what he kept saying. He thought he was never going to find his parents. He thought he was never coming home.
Come in. Oh, come on, okay?
I told him that was not my stop. So then he opened the door and then he said, "Get out."
Mom Michaela was outraged.
Quincy is probably one of the sweetest, most caring and loving kids. So it's like, to be treated like that by an adult just infuriated me. There's a busy intersection directly behind the neighborhood. Anything could have happened.
They couldn't be more grateful for Good Samaritan Madison, aka Max's mom.
It's just the right place, right time situation. I owe you everything.
Why are these strangers walking up to this lady's home and ringing the doorbell?
What can I do for you?
I'm here for Nikki.
For who?
For 9 months, Elaine White was inundated with strangers showing up to her Texas front door.
There was a gentleman sitting on my bench out front with a 6-pack of Miller Lite, a 6-pack of Bud, and 6-pack of Heineken, and a bottle of whiskey.
Turns out they thought Elaine's house was a brothel.
That is correct. My address had been given out on a sex website that men go to, and they pay for sex by Venmo, and then they give them an address, and it's mine, and then they come here.
I was supposed to meet someone here.
For drugs or sex?
Second one.
Don't be scared, be prepared, and that's what I started doing. 4-inch barrel, it is loaded, and I will use it the next time they come here.
She also posted warning signs across her lawn, and the police department put up security cameras on the street.
Get off my front porch.
In early 2024, Deborah and Scott Center got a beautiful new roof. The only problem, it was by mistake.
He was on a business trip and I decided to randomly go with him. So we were about 5 hours away. Meanwhile, here in Oklahoma City, we had an entire roofing crew show up at our house, trucks in the driveway, front driveway, back driveway, Dipsy dumpster, and they start going to work completely tearing off our roof. The only problem was we didn't order a roof.
It took a few hours for employees to notice their mistake.
Somebody had texted numbers and had inverted 2 numbers and sent the crew to the wrong location, to our house. And then I think the project manager showed up at the right house and said, "Where are you guys? Where's the crew?" And they're like, "We're at the house tearing off the roof." And that's when we got a pretty frantic phone call.
They sent proof of the mix-up.
And then we start receiving these photos of our house and we're like, oh my gosh, there's men crawling all over the roof. All the shingles are removed. it was a crazy sight.
The pair were good sports.
So the boss calls, a few minutes later, like as promised, and he's like, I just got to tell you straight up, we made a mistake. We can't do anything about it other than, we're going to put put a roof back on. It's going to be better than what you have.
The blunder cost Graco Roofing and Constructions a pretty penny.
About $30,000.
But saved the center's money.
They came over here a couple days after they finished it, and he's like, hey, I just want to come and personally apologize. Here's your warranty. Here's the information on the roof. Give it to your insurance company. It's going to save you some money. We've got a new quote now that's going to save us $3,500 a year on our insurance premium.
For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Andrea Swindall.